No, it does all of us.
You want to go with this? Gosh. Call this the describe one.
Shelly. Shelly.
Hi, Mom.
Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to welcome you to the first day of the 2016-2017 school year. First, I want to congratulate the class of 2017 for working so hard to get to the point you are at today. This will be an exciting year as you not only continue your studies at USM, but as you begin and simultaneously begin the journey that will lead you to the next and one of the most exciting periods of your life, college. There will be several speakers today that talk about this year's Common Trust theme, which is honesty. Honesty is so important as it forms the foundation for so many facets in life. But I would like to take the time I have today to share a few words that will resonate most with parents, but I believe is really applicable to many circumstances that each of you will encounter in life. In particular, I want to share about one aspect of my own experience as a parent. 14 years ago today, my wife Wendy and I were the parents of a new JKer at USM. We knew very few parents and even less faculty and administrators. We, like all new parents, were worried about how my son's first day of school would go and whether he would meet any new friends. But to be honest, at the same time, we were also hoping that this new environment would provide an opportunity for us to develop some new friendships. Just as we expected our son to take ownership to building new relationships, we had to invest the time to meet other new parents. To that end, I made a decision to invest time to drop my son off at school on days that my schedule would allow, and my wife made a similar commitment. That investment immediately paid off for Wendy and me as many friendships were formed that have grown and exist today. We have met so many wonderful families, and I'm amazed as I reflect back at these relationships, the relationships I've had on my own life over the past 14 years. While there are many reasons why we chose to send our children to USM, we never expected to experience the sense of community that exists at USM for those who invest the time to be part of it. The second but equally rewarding outcome of making USM a personal priority in my own life were relationships that were formed with my children's teachers. These amazing individuals and incredible teachers welcomed me and made me feel like my child was as important to them as they were to me. These relationships with fellow parents, teachers, and administrators led to me to helping in class, led to Wendy getting involved in the Parents Association and serving as their president, and ultimately led to the position that I am in today as the president of the Board of Trustees. And it all started with making a decision to become an active member of the USM community. And for some parents, the drop off and pick up time isn't an option, and I understand that. But there are so many other opportunities and ways to become involved if you make USM a priority. Over the past 14 years, a lot has changed, and gone are the days of open school buildings and little or no formal security. Today it is expected that schools are secure and access is limited. When it became clear to the trustees that USM had to implement changes to protect our children, we immediately understood that it would have an impact on the sense of community that so many of us have experienced when our children were young. As a trustee and at the time the chair of the facilities committee, I, along with my fellow trustees, realized that we needed to do something to create an opportunity for parents to gather before school, at pickup, and after school to encourage the relationship building and community that is so important to the culture of USM. So it is with great pleasure that today, thanks to the generosity of several USM families, that we open the Lee Community Room, which is located at the entrance to the lower school. Our hope is that this gathering space will become a place where new friendships and relationships are formed and grow, that it becomes a place that years from now you will look back at with great fondness as you remember your own experiences here at USM. And my message to you parents is simple. Thank you. Thank you for choosing to invest in your children's future by sending them to USM. But USM isn't only a place for your children. It's also a place for you. So I encourage you to get involved in the Parents Association or another organization or committee. Ask a pre-primary teacher how you can help. Stop in and visit with fellow parents in the Lee Community Room and participating in all the amazing experiences and opportunities that USM has to offer. And for those longer tenured parents, just because your child is no longer needs help in the classroom, or your term on the PA or the boosters or some other board or committee has expired, please don't be a stranger. I encourage you to stop in the Lee Community Room and share your experiences with new parents. Regardless of what stage you are at, we want all parents to be engaged at USM. I want to close by recognizing the best teachers in the world. Thank you for your dedication to your students, your commitment to academic excellence, and for making USM the best place in the state of Wisconsin to educate children. Good luck and have a wonderful school year. It's now my pleasure to introduce Head of School Laura Fuller.
Welcome everybody. Welcome parents, faculty, staff, grandparents, friends, and all 1,127 students to USM this year. A terrific group. This is your school family. You all look terrific out there too. It's fantastic. The view here is wonderful of all the kids and all of the parents. Being here together on opening day is a school tradition, and it has been a part of the very fabric of USM for years. We are so blessed to have this community that starts all the way from the pre-K through the 12th grade. And as Andrew said, to have the opportunity to bring our children here for 14 years, or even 10 years, or 5 years, or 3 years. It is a blessing. It allows us to gather together in celebrations like this. That's why I love the idea of you all seeing each other and seeing how robust and strong the school is. So we're going to celebrate the opening of the 2016-2017 school year. But I want to start by welcoming our SK group, the class of 2029. And I had to do a lot of math to get that. And I want to honor for a minute the leaders of our school, this year's class of 2017. Perhaps most importantly, today is the day that we call attention to some of the traditional guidelines that we live by and interact by in USM. These are summarized, as you all know so well, in the words of our common trust. These words are literally described to us as the way we want to treat each other, and as I said, how we want to live and how we aspire to behave all the way through our time at USM. It is our code of behavior. In a few minutes, you're going to hear from the class of 2017 prefects, the elected leaders of our senior class, and they're going to emphasize the tenet that we are talking about this year, which is honesty. You're going to hear from them about how honesty can be difficult. Sometimes it's a little scary, and sometimes it's just really, really hard because you prefer to take an easier route. But I'm sure they'll have some really interesting and poignant ways of reminding us about how important this is. The common trust, you all know the tenets. Honesty, trust, kindness, respect, and fairness. They are so important to us that a few years ago we inscribed them on the rock at the opening of the middle school. So if you haven't had a chance, if you're new to the school, please take a moment to walk by the rock. And the idea behind that was that it represents the permanence and the very foundation of a common trust to everything we do. And your children will be inculcated with this from grade pre-K all the way through grade 12. And I believe this is probably the most important lessons that we will share with them, the ones that align exactly with the values that you uphold at home. So now, on this beautiful day, fantastic weather, this is amazing, we have had quite a run of this. I would like to welcome the leaders of our middle school from the Middle School Leadership Club, and they will help us and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. You may face this flag here, but I also would love to have you take a look on the way out at the fact that the class of 2017's flag is now flying in honor on the flagpole. So, Middle School Leadership Club.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now, as promised, you will hear from this year's class prefects.
Hello everyone, I'm Anshul Bhatnagar. I'm one of the prefects for this year. So when most people think of honesty, they think of being honest to other people, whether that be teachers, peers, parents, or friends. However, there's someone else who requires your honesty, yourselves. As I realized when I was younger, being honest to yourself is vital to happiness. I am and always have been short for my age, making me look much younger than I am. People would often confuse my brother, who is younger than me by 3 years, for my older brother. When I was much younger, this troubled me greatly. I'd always heard seeing everyone else grow so fast. My peers would often mock me. Every time I was called short, it hurt me. I was constantly looking for ways to get taller, such as eating healthier or exercising more. Every time I would go to the doctor's office, I'd be dismayed to find I had barely grown, whereas my friends were growing by the foot. I was angry at my parents, the world, and myself. The problem was, I wasn't being honest with myself. Genetically, I am predisposed to being short. I was ignoring this fact. Really, I was lying, or you could say being dishonest to myself. Before, I was naively hoping I was suddenly going to have a growth spurt, and when I thought honestly about myself, I knew that wasn't going to happen. Without being true to myself, my world was full of anger, and that was hurting only me. When I started being honest to myself that I really can't control my height, and it really doesn't matter what others say about that, I became a happier, more confident person. Now, I've accepted I may never be 6 feet tall, but I've also accepted that I have other redeeming qualities, of which I am very proud. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Casey, and I'm a lifer, which means I started in K3 as a 3-year-old in that corner of the school, and I will finish after 15 years of my education in this corner. A lot of things have changed since those wonderful days in Mrs. Mackey's PK class. Everyone has gotten taller, although some more than others. We are all much smarter, and our haircuts have undoubtedly gotten better. However, the one thing that hasn't changed for me is the importance of the common trust. In PK, we learned all 5 tenets. I find, though, that their meanings have changed, sometimes in small nuance and sometimes dramatically, particularly for the one we celebrate this year, honesty. The meaning we live by through PK and throughout lower school most define how you interacted with adults. Honesty was always the best policy because, let's face it, adults did have eyes in the back of their head and they were going to catch you. End of story. Yes, Miss Mackey, I did put green paint in Sarah's hair. No, I did not mean to. Yes, I am very, very sorry. But it does look kind of pretty with her red curls, doesn't it? In middle school, once we mastered the art of being honest with adults, we learned the importance of being honest with our friends. And, even more importantly, balancing a little kindness with honesty. So new haircuts were always greeted with enthusiasm, even the now infamous beaver. Now in upper school, we learned the most important and most difficult aspect of honesty, how to be honest with ourselves. Shakespeare said, "This above all, to thine own self be true." Unfortunately, he didn't follow up with step-by-step instructions, so we have to figure it out on our own. Everyone at some point during upper school, whether it be the first day freshman year or graduation day in May, will have a moment or two, or maybe even more, where they need to pause, step back, and be honest with themselves. It could be a little thing like realizing you're not as prepared for a test you had the next day as you thought you were, or in something bigger, not liking the person you become around the people you tend to hang out with, or realizing that college or that major you thought were perfect for you may not be. Honesty to all, yourself, your teachers, your friends, your family, and the people you have yet to meet may be tough, but it's worth it. As my good friend, Mr. Shakespeare says, no legacy is so rich as honesty, so let's practice it every day. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Daniel Glazer. 11:30 a.m. Perfect time to turn in an essay. After working for several nights, writing, editing, and rewriting this vignette, it was finally time to show Miss Schwartz my work. I even had my friends edit it, and they had no complaints. I was quite confident that it was up to par, and handed it to her with no regrets. When I got it back, I was distraught, as she had used enough red ink to make my essay a modern art piece. After a few more modern art pieces, I realized that she didn't do this to be hard. She genuinely wanted me to learn from my mistakes and improve. Despite how hard this class was, her honesty carried me through every piece of writing I did for the rest of my high school career. It brought me to the level I needed, all because she told me I could be doing better. The greatest honesty we don't even notice comes from our teachers. For not only do they tell us the truth, they tell us the whole truth. They hold nothing back. If you start learning A, B, and C, they won't stop until you hit Z. Diving into a book, your teacher won't tell you you've understood it until you really have. Walking into Dr. Bartle's room, you'll be hit with more honesty than you can take. When he tells you you won't be able to complete the first math packet. This is the honesty we really take for granted. The honesty from our teachers that pushes us to become better students. Our teachers dare to tell us our flaws, even when we are good enough. They provide the next level of support that makes our school so great. Next time you don't get the score you wanted, or think a comment is outrageously unfair, be grateful they bothered to tell you. I can assure you the standard they set will carry you not only through the later years of this school, but for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Coiler, and this past spring, I was playing in a game against the girls' soccer team's longtime rival, Lake Country Lutheran, who was just about to take a corner kick. When the ball came rushing into our penalty box, I began to turn in order to step towards the player from Lake Country Lutheran, but instead, the ball pounded into the back of my head. I immediately knew something was wrong. An unsettling sense of disorientation set in, and I blinked rapidly, trying to clear my blurry vision, as I thought to myself, something isn't right, I shouldn't keep playing. Multiple teammates stopped to ask if I was okay, and rather than telling them the truth, I shrugged off the nagging feeling that something was wrong and responded that I was fine, deciding that it was better for the team as a whole if I continued to play. At the end of the game, a half hour later, I walked over to the school's athletic trainer and explained what had happened and that I was worried I might have a concussion. The preliminary test didn't indicate anything was wrong, but when I came in to take the required testing the next day, my score showed a serious concussion. In the end, because I wasn't honest with myself and convinced myself that I was okay to play despite my better judgment, and lied to my teammates who were concerned for my health, I did way more damage than the good I thought I was doing in persevering for my team. Not only did I put myself at risk for serious brain damage by continuing to play with a concussion, but I also left my team short a starter for many more games than I would have if the concussion had been less serious. Later on in the season, I received a second concussion, and even though I knew it would mean I wouldn't be able to play in the playoffs, I immediately took myself out of the game. In the end, what I realized is that there is never a good reason to not tell the truth, and that even when you think you're only hurting yourself and helping those around you by not being honest, you're really still hurting everyone around you too. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nikita Malik. The first step to being honest with others is to be honest with yourself. When I was in kindergarten, our teachers told us to draw a family portrait. Everybody took out their small boxes of colorful crayons and started to settle right down to work. I drew myself in a little pink dress, my dad with his bushy mustache, my mom with her long black hair, and my younger brother with a toy train in his hand. I finished early, so I decided to look around at what my other classmates were drawing. It turned out that all of my classmates drew their families with pets, and everybody in my class had a pet, so I felt left out, and while I wanted a pet, since everybody else drew a dog or a cat or a bird, I decided to draw a big purple dog with its pink tongue sticking out. After I was satisfied with my drawing, my teacher wanted to look at it. Now my teacher was unaware that I had a dog, especially a big purple dog. Confused, she asked what my dog's name was. I was stuck. It took me about a minute and a lot of ums later to come up with the name Bubbles. My teacher, who somehow knew I was lying, gave me a timeout, and I had to stay in class during recess to contemplate on whether it was worth it to tell a lie instead of the truth. What I learned that day and in the years to come is that while it may be tempting to become someone else to impress others, remember that it is more important to accept who you are and be comfortable with yourself. When that happens, people notice it and respect it. So stop worrying about what others may think and be happy with who you truly are, because then you will be honest with yourself and others. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Erin Watson, and I'm going to tell you about a little work experience I had. One day, if you haven't already, you'll have your first job. My first job is at Evereat, a women's retail store in Bayshore, and I work as a stylist. So this woman walks in and explains that she has a convention to go to tomorrow and is in dire need of a dress. She picks 4 dresses from the sales rack and goes into the dressing room to try on. After rejecting the first 3 dresses, she emerges from the dressing room in an aqua, gold, and pink paisley print shift dress with a 3/4 sleeve. Oh yeah, it was not cute. And here comes my moment of truth. She asks me, "Do you like it?" So here I have a little angel-devil situation going on my shoulders. The angel is saying, "Erin, you have to be honest and tell her that is a fashion faux pas. She might walk out of here without a dress, but you can't let her buy something she really shouldn't wear." And the devil is saying, "Erin, you need to make a sale today. Get her to that cash register." After a brief moment of thought, the devil pinches my shoulder and I exclaim, "Oh, that looks great," and ring up her purchase at the cash register. 2 weeks later, she returned her dress. Not only was my sale erased, but she didn't feel confident enough to wear the dress to the convention she needed it for. This is where that whole honesty thing comes in. My job is to make women feel stylish, comfortable, and confident in what they are wearing. I didn't do any of those things when working with this woman. So, I changed my work ethic. I offered up products and styles that were flattering yet comfortable, and stated my true opinion when asked, though not too harshly. After I changed my ways, I found that my customer base grew rapidly, and returning customers began to recognize me when they came in the store. Work became much more than a job, but instead, a community of confident women who confide in each other. So what does this mean for you? First, to the moms who need a little styling, see me after opening ceremonies. And to everyone, don't tell lies. Don't tell lies. Easy, right? But it can be very difficult to be honest and kind at the same time. You may find yourself in a situation like mine, when it seems easier to tell a little lie to preserve someone's feelings. But the important thing is to learn to tell the truth in a gentle way in order to preserve the dignity of others, but also keep your integrity. When in doubt, be kind, be honest. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you for being honest with us about trying to uphold your honor. It is difficult sometimes to be honest and kind and loyal and all of those things at the same time. So now it is a time in our ceremony where we welcome our middle school choir, led by Ms. Miriam Altman, to the stage so that they can sing for us and lead us in the alma mater.
Our alma mater.
It should have been the shade, right?
Well, I don't, but I get the kids. Yeah.